Hello everyone, it's the Canadian Futures Trader here. Welcome to the channel and welcome to the video.
Gotta get more followers.
If you have not already, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, get notified every time I put out a brand new video. Guys, another Jigsaw kind of tutorial video today, if you will. It is not rocket science. All this stuff is in the user manual, but it's a lot of stuff that I had to figure out when I first started using Jigsaw. And I think if you know what all the buttons and things do, all the more power to you. So if you are interested in Jigsaw or you have Jigsaw, I've never really looked through what I call the order box. They call it the trade window. Let's go through what each of these buttons and boxes does. So I have up, so we're not even focused necessarily on the depth of market today. I have the sim up just so I can kind of demonstrate how some of the stuff works, but we're not necessarily going to be trying to pick off good trades. So we're looking at the Ultra Bond here. Let's just go start on the left and work our way right. First thing, it shows the product. So this order box, actually, let me show you first of all where you get to the order box. So when you have any depth of market up, if it's, you kind of have it squished, the menu will run out of space. So you just drop this down and here's all the rest of the options. You click on the dollar setting and it's trade settings, which is trade window / order box. And that will bring this up. You can move it wherever you want. I said I was going to go left to right, but you can change the orientation here. So X would close it. T changes the orientation to vertical and sideways. I'll just show you that. So here it is kind of vertical. So sometimes I'll stick it like right next to my depth of market. Lately, I've just been putting it at the bottom. And then A is always on top. So even if I was to click on this depth of market, you notice that this just stays up here. So I don't do always on top, and I'm going to move it here. And let's put it back down here in its home. Okay guys, so it tells you the product, and of course this order box is tied directly to this depth of market. So here is where you select your account. You can drop this down, so if you were signed into multiple accounts, you could select which account it is you want to trade. You can only trade, one account on one depth of market. Now, if you want to trade multiple accounts, and I do oftentimes, what I'll do is I'll just open a second depth of market, set it to Ultra Bond also, and then just choose the other account on that one, for example. Okay guys, this box shows you your active position. So if you are long, I'll just show you here. I'm going to select the size. So let's just go long. And I got filled for 1, and now I'm filled for all 4. So I went long for 4. So it's in blue. If I was short, I'll just show you. And I'm going to explain all these other buttons that I'm clicking and whatnot. You'll see it's red. So it's a quick visual. Are you short? Are you long? And how many positions? I'm just going to flat this. So these are predefined kind of quantity settings, and you can adjust these to whatever you want. So you have them, and I'll show you how to do that in a second, but you can just click on something. Speaking of that, whatever this box is how many your next order will be for. So right now I have it set to 5. So if I was to go long, it's going to try and do it for quantity 5. And so you can predefine these two numbers that make sense for you. And you can't multiply it. It's not like I can click on 10, 3 times and get 30. It's just a static number. So it's 10, it's 5, etc. If you right click on any of these, you see now it is editable. I could change this to whatever. Let's just change it to 8 for the point. You could use the arrows to increase it, decrease it, and then obviously cancel or accept. So, and now it's 8. So if we click on that, default quantity is 8. If I enter position, it's for quantity 8. So you just kind of set these two numbers that make sense for you and whatever it is you're trading. If you're worried about having, maybe numbers, maybe you're in an evaluation and the maximum number of contracts you're allowed to trade is 4. We'll just set all of them to 4. Set like a 1, 2, and then 4, 4, 4. There's no rule against them being different numbers. I'm going to go ahead and hit flat again. And of course you can manually do this. You can change this to whatever you want it to be. And then you'll see here, I just didn't get filled on both of them. There we go, 2. So you can manually enter this. This is just shortcuts. This part is the next part. It's fairly exciting. So I have mine set to auto, and this is basically, I want to say 99% of the time, what I just leave mine set to. Since I'm trading directly on the depth of market, auto basically puts Jigsaw in control of entering the type of order that makes sense based on where you click. So you need to know where to click, but it's kind of intuitively correct. So let me give you a few examples, and then we can go through what these other ones are. So on my price ladder, obviously I'm not going to go through all the columns. I've done that in a lot of different videos, but on the inside left and inside right here, the purple and the green, this is the limit orders to buy, limit orders to sell. if I wanted to put in a limit order to buy, but let's say I want to enter at this price down here, 2.0. Well, I would click on the limit order box to buy. Like these are buy orders. So I would click right here and you would see. So now this, I'm putting in an order for a quantity of 2, which matches this. And the queue, this is kind of getting away from the trade window here, but it's basically estimates your queue position based on how many orders are ahead of you. So, but Jigsaw knew that, hey, if I'm clicking down here, that means I want to buy at that price. So don't do a market order or anything. It's just a limit order to buy at that price. I'm going to go ahead and cancel that. Likewise, if I wanted to go short at, say, some price up here, same thing. You'll notice too, that one was blue, this one is red because it's a short limit order up here. Cancel that. If I just wanted to jump in on the action, I wanted a market order either way, to buy or to sell. Let's say it was to buy at kind of the current situation. Well, in order to do a market order, basically, I'm just going to hit the sellers at the current price. So the sellers are currently here. So I would click right here. I want to buy at that price. Now it just moved, but that basically would tell Jigsaw buy like right out of these sellers. And I can just show you that, do that, and it gets filled immediately. So I'm going to go ahead and get flat. Same thing happens on the sell side. If I want to sell at the market price, if I click here, that's a limit order. If I click right here, it's a market order to jump in and grab those buyers. Now it's kind of jumping around, but I'll just show you here. Jump in there and it gets filled for a short position. Again, it's in red. I'm just going to leave this order up just one so the audio isn't constantly saying order filled, order canceled. As well, I can show you some of these things with an order open. It actually makes more sense. In a position now, so I use the auto to do that. Let's say I want to set a stop loss. Well, I'm in a short position, right? So I've already sold, so I need to buy if I want to get out of this position, whether I want to set my take profit or my stop loss. So all you have to do is click on, again, the limit column here. Now, because I'm already short, Jigsaw knows, okay, if I'm clicking up here, that isn't like some market order to buy at a weird price. It's a stop order. So I'm going to click up here and you see 2S. Quantity 2, stop order. Likewise, if I want to set a take profit, let's say I want to set one down here, Jigsaw's going to know, okay, you're already short for this price. If he's clicking down here, that's his limit order, his take profit. Once these orders are in, you can certainly move them. You can click on them and move them. We're going to get to some other functionality here as well, which actually gets rid of one of those 2 clicks. But that's basically it, I would say. So you can move them around. Like I said, you can cancel them. Again, we're getting away from the order box. If you just right-click over here, that gets rid of those. And I think that's it for auto. I'm trying to think of anything else. So basically, if you want a market order, just jump in at the current price. If you want a limit order, set your order, whether you're buying or selling on the depth of market. And then once you're in a position, depending on where you click, you're going to be setting stop losses, take profits, etc. So another good example is, so right now I'm short. So an obvious, stop loss would be I would need to buy. But what happens if I hit sell? I'll just show you. Well, Jigsaw says, okay, he's already short, and now he's clicking on sell again. So this must be a limit order to sell even more at this price. So you do kind of need to know, what you're clicking on and where you're doing it. Let's say I wanted to set my take profit down here, but instead of clicking here, which would be the correct way, I click over here. If you don't quite catch on, you basically just set another order to sell at the price down here, which, you might want to. Maybe once the price rallies in your favor, you want to add on to it. So you do need to be very aware of what you're doing and where you're clicking. Once in a while, I do make this mistake myself. Luckily, it never catches me off guard because the color of your position should be the opposite from your take profit and your stop loss, right? If I'm short, my take profit should be a buy, my stop loss should be a buy. So when they're both red, that means I did something wrong, unless this is what I wanted to do. Okay, guys, with that said, so that's all the auto stuff. Now, you can individually choose what type of orders you want to place. So let's say I just wanted to set a stop. And when it says stop, that's a stop market order, meaning if the price even touches your stop price, an order is automatically going to be executed for you. So clicking on stop. So again, we're still in the short position, so we need to place a stop loss up here somewhere, on the buy side. So let's just say I did it here. So it looks the same, all of that, but the thing is that I specifically chose stop. The advantage to using these specific order types is if I click anywhere else now, it's not going to let me. You see, it comes up with an error. There's actually another error off the screen that you didn't see. So next, so this one is SL. It is stop loss also, but it's actually, I should say, it is a stop limit order. So the difference between these is stop is a stop market order. As I mentioned, if the price even hits that price, a market order will be triggered. You're out of your position. Stop limit means sell. Let's go long for a change. Let's see. Let's go long 2. And then we want a stop limit order, let's say down here. And you see here now it says SL, so stop limit. That means I want to sell at this price and this price only. So if the price flashed down, it touches on this, a limit order will be sitting there, but I'm only going to get filled at this price. Now, it can be dangerous. You have to figure this out if it works for the products you trade or not. But you do run the risk that, say the price just came charging down, because of slippage, it skips right over your price and you don't even get filled, and next thing you're down here in a loser. I typically don't use this. Again, I'm trading the treasury, so they tend to move fairly slow anyway, so it's not typically an issue, but that is something to keep in mind. So last thing I'm going to explain here is SV, which is stop volume. So I'm going to put in a volume of, let's use 30. Now I'm going to read this directly from Jigsaw's site. I think it's a little bit clearer. So stop volume. So basically, let me just actually put in a stop first of all. And so you see 2SL, which is stop limit, volume 30. So let me explain what this will do. So for this stop to get activated, not only does the price have to come down and touch here, the resting limit orders on the book right here need to be at or below this number before it will be activated. So actually a better example might be a stop market order. So, but we still have the stop volume. So let's do this. So we have a stop market order, volume 30. And I do use these sometimes. So basically what I'm saying is if the price comes down and just taps this, let's say there's 81 sitting here and it just taps it, one contract trades. Don't execute my stop loss yet. Wait until the volume sitting on the order book here is 30 or less. So it's a little bit of a way to control, you don't get pulled out right away, but if the volume's sitting here on the limit orders starts to pull away, that's Jigsaw's cue to like, hey, yes, get me out of this position because the orders are falling off. It's probably going to run right through this down to price. So that's where I tend to use it, especially in something like the Ultra Bond, where sometimes you just get a quick flash, like it'll pop down, 2 ticks and then pop right back. Well, if I had a stop loss there and it gets activated, but the price never really traded there, like it traded, but not, any substantial volume, I'd rather not get triggered. So using a stop volume helps out in that way, but you kind of have to use numbers that make sense as well, right? If I use a quantity of 1, it might rip right past me because that's right down to the final contract. If you use a quantity that's too high, like say I set this to 300, well, all of these numbers are below 300, so I basically negated the whole point of this. So that's what the SV is. SO, I'm going to be very honest with you, I don't know what that is. Actually, that's part of why I even brought up Jigsaw's help. They don't even explain what it is. So I tried testing it out. I honestly am not quite sure what this does or what it relates to. I do know it's related to the stop loss. That's the only time it lets you enter a number. Like if I click on auto, you see this is grayed out. If I click on stop, it's grayed out, limit, etc. So it's all related to the stop loss, but I'm honestly not 100% sure what this is, but I'm curious to find out. Okay guys, let's talk now about these buttons. So instead of clicking on the depth of market, you could be entering positions just using the buttons right on kind of this order window, trade window, etc. Now I typically don't do this unless, honestly, I really seldom use these. Once in a blue moon I might, but I really don't. Really quick, I'll just read them. I might show you 1 or 2 really fast, but you kind of get the idea. I mean, it's like it's fairly standard. It's a market order, so just buy this quantity at the market. So whatever the current price is now, especially if, the treasuries again tend to move fairly slow, but if you're in a faster moving product, this will just take, market order, boom, get you into position. Market sell, again, I should mention, I didn't mention this early on, I have kind of custom colors, if you will. Normally this would be, blue and red. So blue for buyers, red for sellers. I have mine set to green and purple just to be different. Ask joins the ask at the current prices. Bid joins the bid at the current prices. So I'll just show you, if I enter a market order, boom, it fills me right away. And you see I got kind of a worse price than was currently sitting right here. Just kind of the danger of using market orders and whatnot. I'm going to leave this position on to show you some of these boxes now as well. So let's go down here. Trail, so this is for your stop loss, but it also applies to your take profit. And sometimes I get caught a little offside with this. It always catches me off guard. But let's do it first for a stop, because I think that's how most people probably use it. So you click it to enable it. So if it's yellow, it's enabled. And this is the number of ticks behind you want your stop to trail. So we're currently in a long position, so I'm going to enter stop right here. And I have it set to auto. That's typically how I operate. So my stop loss will always trail behind the current price by 4 ticks. Now, of course, it doesn't move backwards, so when the price comes back down towards it, it stays where it is. So in a faster moving market, when this is really charging up, sometimes I'll just put on a trailing stop loss and let it follow behind, just so I'm not having to manually adjust my stop. Now, you again have to do it what makes sense for you and your product, etc. I will say too, so if I tried to move my stop, you could still move it down, but you're not going to get any further than 4 ticks away. As soon as this trades something, you see it popped right up. So there's not a lot of volume right now. We're kind of later in the afternoon. But again, I can move it here, but as soon as any volume trades, it's going to pop it up within 4 ticks. And you see that here, 1, 2, 3, 4. If you turn this off, if I was to place another stop loss, this one wouldn't be trailing. I mean, I would probably get rid of this one, obviously. Now, I'm going to close those, and I'm going to turn trail on, and I'm going to set a take profit, and we'll see if, so we need to sell. Now, unfortunately, the price is moving. What I basically want to point out is this works for this as well. So if this starts moving down, you'll see my take profit move down with it as well. I'm sure people use that in their strategies. I personally don't. So once in a while, I will still have this clicked, and I'll set a take profit, and then I'll see it start to move down, and I'm like, oh, shoot, I don't want that to be trailing. So just be aware of that. So I'm going to unclick that. I mean, this is sim, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. So actually, now that we're in position, that on. So I'm going to set a stop loss. Again, I'm going to set them fairly outside of the prices just because I don't want them to get filled. So we have our stop loss down here. We have our take profit down here. We're long at a price of 18. S to P basically means stop to price. So if I enable this, again, this will turn yellow. And actually, if you click it once, it only does it for one time. So if I use this feature, it'll turn itself off then. If you right click on it, and I know you don't see the difference, but I right clicked on it that time, it will stay enabled even after I do it. And that's typically how I like it. So I showed you earlier to move a stop loss or take profit, you basically click on the price and then click where you want it to go. So 2-step process. Well, if things are moving, you don't necessarily want that. And a lot of times I like to manage my stop loss, especially in the treasuries. I'm not looking for a lot of ticks. So with stop to price enabled, I just have to click on the price. I no longer have to click on this and then the price. I just click on the price. So let's say I had my stop set here and the price was coming down, but I wanted to manage it. I want to give it one more tick, just quick. I could pop it down, something like that. Now, you'll notice though, my take profit stayed static. So if we change this now to L to pre, which is limit order to price, now when I click on a price, it's moving the limit order. It's not moving the stop. So you can only have one of these enabled at a time, obviously. Otherwise, you'd have both of them moving, and that doesn't make sense. As well, if I tried to move my limit below the current price activity, it just goes ahead and fills it. So need to be a little bit careful about that. But I think typically you wouldn't be moving, wouldn't even occur to you to move your limit order down below the current price. Let's talk about OCO really quick. I think most people know what this is. It basically means one cancels the other. So if you have, let's just go long 2 contracts, and then I'm going to set a take profit and a stop loss. Basically, you're telling Jigsaw, if this is enabled, that if one gets hit, cancel the other order. Now, I personally have this set elsewhere in Jigsaw that every time I'm in an order, I have an open position, it's like by default, it's OCO. So if it hit either of these, regardless of whether I have this on, it's OCO in my situation. You set that through the somewhere in the main menu. But if you didn't have that set, let's say you didn't want that enabled all the time, you could enable it on a trade-by-trade basis, and you would do that right here. Okay, guys, we are getting to the end. Time and force, I don't ever change this. It's day or it's good till canceled. I'm day trading. I just leave it set as day. I'm going to explain this last. It's the different strategies that you can set up. Flat and cancel. So cancel just cancels any open orders, but it doesn't close your position if you are in one. Flat closes your open position and cancels all orders. So it's kind of a get me out of everything button. Cancel just gets rid of these. So maybe the price is, charging up quicker than I expected, and I want to get rid of this, take profit as quick as I can because I don't even have time to like grab it and move it. I would just hit cancel. It'll get rid of those. The price would be doing what it's doing, and then I can reassess and set new limit orders and stops and all that. But let me just put some stops on here and take profit. If I hit flat, you're going to see get rid of those, and it's going to close out my position. I think most people understand that, but just to explain everything that's on here. And last thing, I'm going to move this up just because it's a drop down. So these are basically strategies in Jigsaw. They're kind of the equivalent to automated trade management from like a Trader. I don't know what they're called in other software. You predefine these. I'm not going to go through how to set these up right now. I actually made a different video all about that. Basically, they are preset. I'll just pick one here. Let's pick this one. So 5W3L trail. So my naming convention, and you name them yourself, is basically what I'm saying is when I enter a position, I get my order filled, automatically set a 5-tick winning or take profit, a 3-tick loser or stop loss, and have that stop loss be trail. Now I have set all this up in advance, so I'll just show you how that works. But by having this enabled now, so let's say I go long, I'm just going to bring this back up. You saw it automatically put the 3-tick stop, 5-tick winner. It's a nice way, especially if you just want to quickly get those orders on the books. And you see my stop loss got filled there. Likewise, again, 2-tick winner. So this is when I'm doing some quick scalping. We'll see if this gets filled. I'm going to go short right here. As soon as something trades, will get filled. Again, we're just on sim here. Need something to trade though in order to get filled. There we go. And you see immediately a 2-tick winner got placed. So that's my 2W, my 2 winner. And you can see almost immediately why that's kind of important. If the price is moving around, I want that order placed as quick as it can. And Jigsaw can do it slightly faster than I could. If I was to click and then come over here and click, to get my take profit, well, Jigsaw just does it. So that's basically strategies. And again, you set those up elsewhere. You can watch my video on those if you would like to see those. And I should mention too, this is probably going to get filled. You can move these around. This is just a way to automate the placement of them. Once they're on here, you can do what you want with them. You can move them around. I could hit cancel and get rid of it. I can hit flat then and get out of this position. All right, guys, and I think that basically explains everything in the order box. I know it's not like the most exciting video, but this is the type of stuff that I wish I had when I was first starting out and had to kind of figure all these things out. So hopefully that helps you out. I'm going to put a link down below to the other video that shows the strategies that you can set up. Be sure to subscribe to my channel to see other videos. I do videos not just about Jigsaw, but about trader evaluations. I do giveaways sometimes whenever there's deals running. Even Jigsaw once in a while will run a deal. I also put a link down below to Jigsaw, and I have a code. If you use the code, you get $30 off Jigsaw. I know it's not a fortune, but it's a little something to help you out. Guys, I'm going to leave you with that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.